Are you ready for phase 1?
Hey, thanks for checking out the video. I'm DJ Alex Brown, and today I'm going to be taking a look at my new Pioneer DDJ-SX2. First of all, the SX2 is the successor to the SX1, which I will put a link in the description to my video for. Let's check out a quick demo of some features and differences with the SX2. The top of the controller looks very similar to the original SX, except for a couple of additions such as flip here, and also some changes in this area with dual deck and the slip mode reverse. Some things have been moved around and built up into two buttons into one. I have a couple of things that I don't specifically like about this controller, and the reason that I'm going to start with them is because they are the things that I don't like. They're personal things. So first of all, I can touch a cue point and it doesn't really go, so I really have to kind of hit it. On the original SX, this was not a problem. The cue points on the original SX are a little bit deeper, so these feel pretty hard, which I don't really like because it almost kind of hurts the tips of my fingers when I hit them. And I mean, it's fine because I'm very violent, so I'm sure I'll wear them in, but I would like them to be a little more pressy and a little more deeper push in. I don't like them clicky, I just like them to kind of push in a little bit more and kind of have a little more depth to it. It's almost like the iPhone 7 home button versus an old home button, so I'll get used to it. But the other thing that is a little upsetting to me is the faders here. They are sticky. They're and it's not like there's something that was spilled on the controller. It's just natural stick, and they're not worn in. But I prefer a club type of fader, which is you throw it and it just goes all the way up, similar to the crossfader. Now, the crossfader is a club type, which you would expect, and you can just throw it. You can throw it side to side really easy. There's not a lot of drag on it. These faders have more drag. As far as sound quality, when I plug this into my monitoring system in my house, there is less static that comes out of this controller than the original SX, which is really nice because static drives me crazy. The booth or monitor level has less static that goes through it. Part of that is TRS, and it only has TRS outs for the booth, which is fine, but this controller does take away a lot of the static that the original SX had. The sound quality out of this is also a little bit better than the original SX. You might see that this controller is Serato officially supported and DVS upgrade ready. DVS is an expansion pack in Serato, but if you want to use it with some real vinyl turntables, you could. I do really like that the cue points are colored, although the colors aren't 100% accurate. As you can see on my computer screen right now, my cue points are red, orange, blue, and yellow, whereas on here, the cue points are red, yellow, blue, and green. And Serato has two different hot cue applications, so somehow some people have this format and some people have the format that I have. How that works, I am not really sure. I wish I knew, and I personally prefer these colors for the cue points, but I would like the cue points to match the ones that I have on my screen. You'll see this new light here. This is for cue point detection. Each one of these red bars represents a measure. So if I am going away from my cue point, you'll see this. The bars go down. And now I'm 4 bars away from the cue point. So now I'm 3 bars away, 2 bars, 1 bar, and I'm at the cue point. And then it's going back down. This jog wheel here seems to have a different tension than the original SX, and I like it better for scratching because of the added tension that it has in it. So it feels a little nicer, it feels a little more like actual vinyl, and it's closer to a CDJ also, such as like a CDJ-2000 Nexus, which I play on at the club. When you throw these wheels, they won't go quite as far as the original SX did, and that's kind of nice because it doesn't require you to catch it as much. Of course, you still do need to catch it, but the jog wheel itself has way more tension, and for that reason you can throw it and it doesn't just go all the way through the whole song. It stops after about a measure or two, depending on what song you're playing and how fast you throw it. So, and you have a little bit more control on this jog wheel as of how far you throw. So if you push it really fast and get a good spin on there, like this, it'll go further, versus if you do more of a short, it'll do just a short little thing. So these jog wheels are much preferred over the original SXs. So what are my overall thoughts? Well, I prefer the SX2 over the SX1. But is it worth the upgrade if you have a perfectly well-working SX1? I'd say probably not. There's not a whole lot of feature changes unless something like flip is a huge deal for you, which I might add, you do have to pay to add flip on. You have to buy the add-on in Serato. Another feature that I would have liked to have seen on the SX2 is split shift buttons. Although you may not know, the shift buttons on both the SX1 and SX2 control the entire top of the controller, which means any function that uses shift on the top of the controller, you can press any shift button on the top of the controller and it will allow those to use their shift mode, whatever their shift mode may be. Say it's reverse, vinyl, whatever it is. So Pioneer, I'm a little upset about that one because Pioneer is supposed to be the highest line of performance DJ controllers, and they're starting to lag back a little bit. So a feature I'd like to see in the future is definitely split shift buttons across each deck. Otherwise, I think it's a great controller. It's definitely very solid, has a little bit better sound than the original SX, and it's at the same price point. So if you're looking to buy a new controller, definitely buy this over an SX. If you already have an SX, you might want to look into the SX2 and if it's really feasible for you to have. That's it for my review. Thank you for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel for new videos every Saturday, and make sure to give me a thumbs up on the video. Peace.